Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today, we're really cutting through the noise. We want to tackle a topic that's, well, it's the unseen engine of pretty much any thriving enterprise, big or small. We're embarking on a deep dive into improving operational efficiency, simple strategies for your business. Our guide today comes from Insights via Bstrat. They're a well-known business and executive coaching firm, and their material isn't just theory, it's a toolkit, really practical, actionable stuff. So our mission for you listening in is to give you a bit of a shortcut, a concentrated dose of understanding on how any organization can, really do more with less. And not by cutting corners, but by being smarter, more agile.
Exactly. And that's why this is so vital, particularly now. For an audience like yours, operational efficiency, it's more than just saving a bit of money. It's really about unlocking potential system-wide. I mean, the world moves so fast, right? Understanding how to streamline things, that's like a superpower, whether you're in a big company, a startup, or even just managing your own projects. So yeah, we'll explore what it really means, how to spot those system breakdowns. We'll talk simple but powerful strategies to fix things, and maybe most importantly, how to make those improvements stick for good.
Okay, let's unpack that. Bstrat's core definition of operational efficiency. They argue it's way more than just, getting things done. It refers to a business's ability, its agility really, to deliver products or services using resources optimally and hitting peak productivity. It's like engineering a system where getting the most bang for your buck isn't just a goal, it's baked right into how things work. So every input gives maximum value. It's that edge, isn't it, that lets agile players sometimes outrun the giants.
Absolutely. And what Bstrat really illuminates is that this isn't some fuzzy concept. It's measurable, deeply measurable. We gauge it by looking hard at key performance metrics, things like output per unit of input, how well you're actually using your labor versus what you could be doing, the precision of your resource management. But the crucial thing isn't just having KPIs, key performance indicators. It's which ones you pick and how you use them. Bstrat sees the best KPIs, not just as like historical reports, but as real-time diagnostic tools. Think of a car's dashboard. It doesn't just tell you speed, right? It warns you if the engine's hot, if tire pressure is low. It tells you where you need to intervene. And that helps you, the listener, move past just gut feelings and pinpoint exactly where you can improve.
That's a great analogy, moving from just reporting to actual diagnosis. But the real power here, the thing Bstrat suggests, often gets missed. It goes way beyond just saving costs, doesn't it? It fundamentally changes how a business adapts, how it innovates. Companies that get this right, they become incredibly well-positioned. They can respond dynamically to market shifts, adapt fast to changing customer tastes, and grab new opportunities much quicker than competitors who are, well, less efficient. And that directly boosts productivity. It lets businesses genuinely do more with less, which, let's be honest, for any operation on a tight budget is huge. And beyond the numbers, Bstrat also talks about fostering a culture of continuous improvement, getting everyone, every single employee involved in spotting problems and finding solutions, making them part of the engine, not just cogs.
Right.
So we get what it is, why it's so critical. But the million-dollar question for a lot of people listening is probably, okay, how do I even start finding these problems in my business or project? Where does Bstrat say we should begin? Roll up our sleeves and start digging.
That's the perfect next step. Bstrat really hammers home that you can't fix what you can't see. And one of the, honestly, most effective ways to see clearly is process mapping. I remember working with a client, they swore their customer onboarding was super smooth. Then we put every single step, literally, on a whiteboard. And suddenly, boom, 5 redundant approval steps they'd never even noticed. That's the power. Bstrat calls it drawing a clear visual picture of the whole sequence. Say, fulfilling an order, you map it all out, inquiry, processing, shipping, billing, everything, and you can literally see the delays, the duplications, the wasted resources. It just reveals itself.
Okay, so process mapping gives you the what and where. And building on that visual map, Bstrat talks about workflow analysis. If mapping is the house layout, workflow analysis is like tracking how people actually move through it, right? What they carry, where they get stuck. It digs into the actual flow of tasks and information, looking for those friction points, the sticky notes, the emails, waiting for approval, we need Susan to sign off on that moments, those things that turn a smooth path into a traffic jam. It helps you pinpoint how work really moves and where you can smooth out those transitions.
Precisely. And to make sure this isn't just guesswork, Bstrat brings back the importance of performance metrics, KPIs, but tailored specifically for analyzing these current processes. These aren't your high-level company goals. These are granular, measurable data points showing how things are running right now. The material mentions things like tracking customer response times, production rates per hour, or maybe resource use at specific stages. By watching these consistently, You don't just suspect inefficiencies, you can prove them with data, which allows for, as they say, strategic modifications based on facts, not just feelings.
All right, this is great. We've defined efficiency, we see why it's vital, and we've got tools like process mapping and workflow analysis to find the weak spots. Now, how do we actually fix things? Plug those leaks. B-Strat isn't just about finding problems, they offer practical fixes. Simple strategies, they say, but with real power to boost effectiveness. So let's dig into the how-to. How do we build that leaner, meaner operation?
Exactly. And one of the biggest wins, often one of the quickest, comes from automating repetitive tasks. Just think about it. How much time do skilled people spend on totally predictable, mundane stuff? Stuff a machine could do faster, probably more accurately too. Automate those tasks, and bam, you free up your team for the more impactful initiatives. The stuff that needs brain power, creativity. B-Strat uses a classic example, software for invoicing or payroll. It's not just faster, it cuts out manual data entry errors, which we all know happen. What B-Strat finds fascinating, and I see this too, is how often simple, available tech solutions get overlooked. It's not always about complex AI. Sometimes it's just about using the right tool for the job to reclaim literally thousands of hours a year.
Yeah, you hit a key point there. Automation, freeing up people and cutting errors. It shows how much hidden capacity is often just sitting there. But, even with automation, I've seen communication become the new bottleneck. Is that why B-Strat really focuses on streamlining communication channels? Because honestly, who hasn't been lost in a 50-reply email thread or hunted for info across Slack, Teams, and email? Oh, absolutely. Fragmented communication. It's like a silent efficiency killer. B-Strat points out how having multiple platforms leading to misunderstandings and delays is incredibly common, but also very fixable. Their solution sounds simple, but it works. Consolidate communication, get everyone onto a single, easy-to-use platform. It's not just about convenience. It dramatically improves collaboration, makes finding info easier, and helps teams react way faster. It just cuts through the static, gets everyone sort of in the same virtual room.
Makes sense. Cut the noise.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond the tools and platforms, efficiency relies heavily on people, and that seems to be the next strategy, investing in employee training. B-Strat really emphasizes this. It's not just about making people work faster, is it? It's about empowering them, giving them the skills they need.
Precisely. B-Strat sees training as a direct investment, a critical one. They argue it's not enough to just hire someone. You have to keep developing them. They specifically mention things like offering courses on time management or project management. These can have immediate payoffs in efficiency. And it's not just about job-specific technical skills. It's those foundational productivity skills that help everyone manage their work better, make smarter decisions. Honestly, it even boosts job satisfaction. Equipping people properly means they don't just follow the process, they start thinking about how to improve it. Skipping this, it's like giving someone dull tools and expecting fine craftsmanship. Just doesn't work.
Good point. And rounding out the implementation strategies, B-Strat talks about utilizing technology effectively. And they make a key distinction. It's not just about grabbing the latest shiny tech, because that can actually create new problems sometimes. It's about regularly assessing current tools and software, making sure they still fit, still meet the business's needs. It's like a tech audit, right? Are we getting the most from what we pay for? Are there gaps we could fill to get a big boost? They mention things like project management tools for better oversight, or performance analytics software for smarter, faster decisions. It's about making sure your whole tech setup is actively helping you, accelerating things, not just sitting there. Okay, so we've defined it, analyzed where we are, implemented some smart strategies. But efficiency isn't a one-and-done project, is it? It feels like this leads us to the final piece, monitoring and continuous improvement. This is about making it last, building resilience, not just getting a quick fix. How do we keep the momentum going?
This is absolutely where the long game is played. And guess what comes back? Tracking with KPIs. But here, it's with a forward-looking perspective. B-Strat stresses that KPIs serve as powerful tools for this purpose. They let you constantly monitor progress, identify areas for improvement, and make informed decisions. It's about keeping that dynamic finger on the pulse, making sure those changes you made are actually delivering. It begs the question, for you listening, are your metrics actually telling you what you need to know? Are they giving you actionable intelligence or just numbers for a report? Are they diagnosing or just describing past events?
Right, are they useful diagnostics? And to make sure you're acting on that data, B-Strat insists on regular reviews, like operational health checkups. These aren't just routine meetings, they should be focused assessments, looking at processes, strategies, evaluating if they're still working, and crucially, spotting any new gaps or inefficiencies that might have crept in. Because things always change.
Mm.
B-Strat suggests using structured methods here. They mention things like Lean, which is all about ruthlessly cutting waste, or Six Sigma, aiming for near-perfect quality by reducing errors and variations. These give you a rigorous way to dissect and improve things, maybe through like a quarterly process audit where a team really challenges a key workflow, keeps things sharp, prevents that efficiency drift.
And finally, maybe the most important part, culturally speaking, is fostering a culture of continuous improvement. This is where the human element really shines. B-Strat says leaders need to empower employees, actively encourage them to participate in identifying inefficiencies, and suggest new strategies. Think about it. When your team feels their ideas matter, where the feedback isn't just tolerated, but actually welcomed, even celebrated, they become your best source of innovation. This source is clear. Leadership should actively support and promote this kind of environment. It leads to everyone pulling together towards operational excellence, not just waiting for orders from the top. Big picture. It's about building an organization that learns, that adapts constantly, making improvement just part of how things are done, part of the company's DNA.
So let's try and bring this all together for you. We've gone deep into operational efficiency, and what we've really uncovered is this powerful cycle, isn't it? It starts with clearly defining what efficiency truly means for you. Then, meticulously analyzing your current state, finding those bottlenecks. Then, strategically implementing fixes, simple but potent ones, using automation, communication, training, technology. And finally, continuously refining everything through smart monitoring and, crucially, building a culture where improvement is everyone's job. These simple strategies from B-Strat, they're not just ideas, they're genuinely a blueprint for real growth, for sustainable success, whatever you're working on. They're that unseen engine driving progress.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Just consider how even one small, seemingly tiny inefficiency, maybe in your own daily routine or in a process at work, how that can multiply across time, across people. It can become this huge, silent drain on energy and resources. So the question is, what tiny, smart shift could you make this week using maybe just one strategy we talked about? Could you map out a personal project? Streamline how your team communicates about one specific thing? Maybe finally learn that productivity tool you've been putting off? What small step could start a ripple effect towards greater productivity, maybe even more satisfaction? Because really, the journey of 1,000 efficiencies, it starts with that first smart step.
That's a brilliant, very actionable thought. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. Go out there, apply these insights, and start tuning up that operational engine. We look forward to having you with us next time.